Alright, hello everybody. In this one we're going to show you how to use some very basic skills on some very basic tools in Adobe Illustrator. This is not meant to be anything serious. This is if you're just your first time opening the app and you need to know how to use some things. Most of the stuff can be solved by just, fiddling around and playing with it. But I'll show you some very basic stuff. In this one we're going to cover 4 tools. We're going to first start with the rectangle tool. Now this is one of the most simple tools to use. It's not hard at all. It's pretty easy to explain. So to start, you're going to click your mouse button right here, and then we're going to hold it and drag. You can change the size and the overall width and length of your rectangle. You can even make it a square. The program will show you when it's perfectly even on both sides, right there. But let's say I want to make a rectangle. We'll put it right there. As you can see, it's very obnoxiously green and a small stroke above it. But you can change all of that right here. The fill changes the fill color. So let's say I want a red rectangle with a fairly thicker stroke. And we can change our stroke right here. And let's say I only want it to be partially visible. We could change our opacity right here to 50%. And there you go right there. Also with this, you have all of your dimensions over here in this top corner, including your length, your width, your height, even the angles at which your corners are at. And that's pretty much that. It's pretty basic, and that's all I have to say about the rectangle tool. We'll go up here, clear this. Next will be the star tool. This is very similar to the rectangle tool, almost identical, except you're not making a rectangle or a square, you're making a star. Once again, click and hold, and then drag. You can change the size and even rotate your star. Say I want it there, and again, you have your fill, your stroke, your opacity, and all of your dimensions up here. Nothing else to really say about that. Very similar to the rectangle tool. Alright, we'll clear that, and then we'll go on to the flare tool. Now the flare tool is weird and only comes in very specific circumstances where you're making an image and it needs to have some sort of flare on it. It's a bit tricky, but once you really start to learn how to use it, it'll be fine. Let's start our flare by clicking and then dragging. You'll get this crazy design. Don't pay too much mind to it. Click it right there, and then you'll see the initial flare, and then we'll click somewhere else, and there's your secondary flare, or where it will travel if it's traveling across the screen. Looks like a big eyeball. You can change it in any way you want. Down, up, over, but we'll put it right here for the sake of argument. Now, you have your flare right there, but if you want further editing in your flare, you can just simply click somewhere else, and that gives you another flare. Here, you can change anything you want about it. How wide it is, what the opacity is, the brightness, the diameter, the size in general, the number of rays it has. It's just a lot to take in. You can even change your direction right here, which changes, as you can see, the point at which your flare is angling. But we won't pay any attention to that. And this is your flare. Now, you can click it again right here, and then you can change all your stuff. But that's the flare tool. It's pretty basic, but it only really comes in on very certain things. Alright, we'll get rid of that by pressing Ctrl-Z twice. And then we'll go into the final tool, which is the shaper tool. Now, the shaper tool is a little bizarre, and it takes some practice. Pretty much what you want to do is if you need multiple shapes kind of quickly, so if I need a rectangle and then a circle right away, instead of switching back and forth between your shape tools, you can use the shaper tool and you can make very vague drawings. Say I want a square, and boom, I have a square. Then let's say if I want a circle, I can draw a very vague circle, and I'll get a bigger square. Here's the trick with the shaper tool. It's not accurate 100% of the time, especially when you're drawing on a laptop mouse pad like myself. So I try not to use it as much as I do the shape tools, because I think those are a little more accurate. But if this is more your savvy, again, you can draw a circle and you'll get a circle. Draw a rectangle, you'll get a rectangle, approximately the same size too. Even if I draw an oval, I'll get an oval. And if I want to, I can even draw a polygon, and I'll get a square. Like I said, it's not perfect, and it is the program trying to guess what you are drawing. So you got to give it some time, you got to give it some patience, but overall, it's a pretty handy tool, and I definitely recommend it if you have a mouse instead of a touchpad. But yes, those are the tools, and that's how to use them. Again, very basic stuff, nothing too fancy, and that's it. Thanks for watching.